Okay, so the retrospective series are back, and we are looking at Indiana Jones. That's right, we are looking at all the Indiana Jones movies leading up to the new one that is coming out at the end of the month. And we're starting off with the first one, the original Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, for many of you, this is going to be a retrospective look at. You guys have seen it. But for people like me, who for some unknown reason have been living under a rock and have never got around to seeing a single Indiana Jones movie, this is my first time viewing it, and you're going to get my first thoughts on this franchise as a whole and each movie as we progress. So let me know your thoughts down below. What did you guys all think of Raiders of the Lost Ark? Tell me that, because it's an absolute classic. I don't know why I haven't seen it until now, but we're going to talk about it. So smash your thoughts on the movie, smash the like button, click subscribe, and let's talk about the Raiders of the Lost Ark right now. Okay, so Indiana Jones, The Raiders of the Lost Ark, an adventure movie directed by Spielberg that came out in 1981 that stars the great Harrison Ford. You guys don't know who Harrison Ford is and you've been living under a bigger rock than I have. It's Han Solo, you know, the guy that plays that iconic role in Star Wars. Yes, he also has another iconic role called Indiana Jones. Now, I knew that Harrison Ford played Indiana Jones. I knew about Indiana Jones, but I've never actually seen it. So I sat down and I've watched the first one, The Raiders of the Lost Ark. People have been raving about it, like this is one of the greatest adventure series of all time. And obviously, how I haven't seen it, I don't know why, because it's Steven Spielberg as well, and I think he's absolutely fantastic. Like, he's probably the best director of all time currently right now. Not my favorite, but he's definitely in my top 3 favorites, but he is the GOAT in my opinion at this point in time. So I love Jurassic Park that he did. I love all these other ones that he has done, like these absolute iconic movies. And now I finally got to watch it. And I'll tell you what, look, first initial thought on Indiana Jones, The Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is actually a fun movie. Now, looking at it now, obviously I didn't see it back in the 80s or anything like that, but I am a huge fan of movies like the original trilogy from Star Wars, Aliens, Alien. So I love those 80 classic movies, Predator, everything like that. So when it comes to the visuals of this movie, they aren't going to be anywhere near your MCUs, your DCs, your Avatars and stuff like that. So you instantly have to take into consideration the time and the product of that time. And that's what this movie is. So yes, there are some moments where you kind of scratching your head like, that's clearly green screened. That's clearly fake. That's clearly not real. But you take that because that's what makes these type of movies that were made back in the 80s have that magic about them. It's that it feels like it's the 80s movies. And that's what this movie really feels like. It feels like an 80s adventure movie. I really, really did actually enjoy this movie quite a lot. And now it makes me wonder why I never got around to watching it. Because I actually had an absolute ball watching this movie. It's fun. It really is fun. And it's a good adventure movie. And it's not complicated or anything like that. It's quite easy to follow. But what I really, really like about this is the whole idea of Indiana Jones and going on these adventures and stuff like that. I love Harrison Ford in this role. I really do, man. He's really, really good. And Indiana Jones is a character you just fall in love with straight away. Like, you just love this character. And you're like, bro, man, I want to go on another adventure with you. I do. I want to go sit down and watch the second one, the third one, the fourth one. I want to see the new one now because I like this character. Instantly, straight away, they catch you in with the whole entire first act. They wrap you in, suck you in. Spielberg does a fantastic job telling you the story of Indiana Jones without actually, like, look, he doesn't go back and show you him as a child and what gets him interested in, you know, archaeology. Doesn't show you all that. He shows you already in the job. Like, this is a guy that's already seasoned, knows what he's doing, and one of the best in his field. And the way that Spielberg tells you that, and then gets you invested into his character very, very quickly, is fantastic. And you just see how good he is at his job from the opening sequence that you get, where he's actually there looking for this gold headpiece thing this treasure, and the way that he's able to maneuver through the traps and everything like that. You get the iconic boulder scene as well here. It was just really, really good and really, really fun. And that connection straight away with Indiana Jones is vital, because once you get that connection with the leads of a movie, you're instantly hooked in. And I was. And Harrison Ford is just a treasure, national treasure, absolute fantastic. Really loved him in this role quite a lot. I love actually all of them. They were all good. The villains were good as well. You know, you have all the Nazis and everything like that going on here. They're trying to find the Ark as well. Really, really enjoyed the supporting cast and thought were really, really good. Now, when it comes, obviously the visuals, there are some supernatural elements that happen in this movie as well, towards the end as well. The visuals aren't as good as today's, but look, it's a product of the time. I'm not going to say that they're like awful or anything like that, because back then that is just like, whoa, mind blown. Like, that is so good. Obviously now when you watch movies like Avatar: Way of Water, it's just a whole nother league. But so I can't really comment on the visuals here and they're like the visual effects or anything like that, but the practical ones were quite good as well. There are some practical effects, like obviously they're not going to look as real as today because they didn't have the resources back then, but some of them look really, really good. And I really liked when they were blowing up at the end of the movie. I thought that visual was really, really good. I thought the editing of the movie was great as well, especially for that time. Obviously, now we are able to edit movies where you can see a lot more of things being thrown around, catching and everything like that. We can do that stuff because we have higher CGI and visuals and everything like that. Back then you didn't have that. So the cuts of the editing where it's like, for instance, the plane bit where he's fighting the big dude and obviously the propeller's coming around and they cut away and they just show you the blood splatter. Now we can actually show you the whole thing of him getting like sliced up. Back then it's a lot harder to do and it would cost a lot more. So the editing of this movie I have no problems with. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, especially the chase sequences. I thought they were edited well and I really, really did enjoy it. Obviously John Williams does the score, the GOAT. Like, the guy just is absolutely a score machine. But this is very much a 80s score. And you can tell that it's John Williams. You can really tell. If I sat you down and just played you that, and you had never ever heard of John Williams or anything like that, and you sat down and watched that, and then I put on Star Wars and you watched that, and Jurassic Park and that, you would be able to tell that the same guy did all three of them. You can tell that he's got it. And there are so many moments in here when the score's playing that I can hear the tone from Star Wars, from certain musical scores in the Star Wars that is in here as well that you can hear. And then obviously you have the iconic Indiana Jones theme going on as well. That was just absolutely superb. The writing, I really enjoyed the writing in here as well. I thought the dialogue was great as well. It's very much 80s. The action in here, look, the action isn't going to be John Wick. It's just not, because it's the 80s. They just don't have the resources to do it. But when you take out the whole idea of I've seen John Wick and that is just like really, really good. I've seen The Raid and everything like that. Like, the action is just unbelievable. You take that away and just judge this based on the time period that it came out. The action is quite good. I really enjoyed it. Like, yes, it feels very 80s like, and that's what I love about it. I love that it feels like that, and I feel like I've been transported back to the 80s and I'm watching it during that time period. And yeah, the action for me worked well. And obviously he loves his whip. We know that. Like, that whip is just being used for everything. So look, overall, for my first time viewing this, I actually really enjoyed this movie, and I can see why people love Indiana Jones now. Now I'm excited to see the next one, and then the next one after. And then obviously people have told me about, you know, the fourth one. People have said like that one doesn't exist and that. So that should be interesting when I get there. But this one I really, really enjoyed, and I understand now why people absolutely love it and say that it's one of the greatest action adventure films, because it feels like that, and it's a good adventure movie. It really is. So now I'm excited to see where the Indiana Jones story is going to go, and yeah, now I'm actually really, really excited to see the fifth one. I really am. So yeah, so let me know your thoughts down below. What did you guys all think? Have you guys seen it? I mean, majority of people have seen it. I'm just probably the only one that hasn't seen it. Unless you're like 12 or something, then you haven't been shown yet. But yeah, I don't know what rock I was living under. But let me know your thoughts. And if you are a first-time viewer of this movie, let me know your thoughts as well. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.